1 Kings chapter 8. Then Shlomo assembled the elders of Israel, and all the heads of the tribes, the princes of the fathers' houses of the children of Israel, to King Shlomo in Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of the covenant of Yahweh out of the city of David, which is Zion. And all the men of Israel assembled themselves to King Shlomo at the feast in the month Ethanim, which is the 7th month. And all the elders of Israel came, and the priests took up the ark, and they brought up the ark of Yahweh, and the tent of appointment, and all the holy vessels that were in the tent. Even these did the priests and the Levim bring up. And King Shlomo and all the congregation of Israel that were assembled to him were with him before the ark, sacrificing sheep and oxen that could not be counted nor numbered for multitude. And the priests brought in the ark of the covenant of Yahweh to its place, into the oracle of the house, to the most holy place, even under the wings of the cherubim. For the cherubim spread forth their wings over the place of the ark, and the cherubim covered the ark and the staves thereof above. And the staves were so long that the ends of the staves were seen from the holy place before the oracle, but they were not seen without. And there they are to this day. There was nothing in the ark except the 2 tablets of stone, which Moshe put there at Horeb, when Yahweh made a covenant with the children of Israel, when they came out of the land of Mizraim. And it was, when the priests were come out of the holy place, that the cloud filled the house of Yahweh, so that the priests could not stand to serve by reason of the cloud, for the glory of Yahweh filled the house of Yahweh. Then spoke Shlomo, Yahweh hath said that he would dwell in the thick darkness. I have surely built thee a house of habitation, a place for thee to dwell in for ever. And the king turned his face about, and blessed all the assembly of Israel, and all the assembly of Israel stood. And he said, Blessed be Yahweh the God of Israel, who spoke with his mouth to David my father, and hath with his hand fulfilled it, saying, Since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Mizraim, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build a house, that my name might be there, but I chose David to be over my people Israel. Now it was in the heart of David my father to build a house for the name of Yahweh the God of Israel. But Yahweh said to David my father, Whereas it was in thy heart to build a house for my name, thou didst well that it was in thy heart. Nevertheless, thou shalt not build the house, but thy son that shall come forth out of thy loins, he shall build the house for my name. And Yahweh hath established his word that he spoke, for I am risen up in place of David my father, and sit on the throne of Israel, as Yahweh promised, and have built the house for the name of Yahweh the God of Israel. And there have I set a place for the ark, wherein is the covenant of Yahweh, which he made with our fathers, when he brought them out of the land of Mizraim. And Shlomo stood before the altar of Yahweh in the presence of all the assembly of Israel, and spread forth his hands toward skies. And he said, O Yahweh, the God of Israel, there is no God like thee, in skies above or on earth beneath, who keepest covenant and loving kindness with thy servants that walk before thee with all their heart, who hast kept with thy servant David my father that which thou didst promise him. Yea, thou spakest with thy mouth, and hast fulfilled it with thy hand, as it is this day. Now therefore, O Yahweh, the God of Israel, keep with thy servant David my father that which thou hast promised him, saying, There shall not fail thee a man in my sight to sit on the throne of Israel, if only thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me as thou hast walked before me. Now therefore, O God of Israel, let thy word, I pray thee, be verified, which thou spakest to thy servant David my father. But will God in very deed dwell on the earth? Behold, the skies and the skies of the skies cannot contain thee. How much less this house that I have built? Yet have thou respect to the prayer of thy servant, and to his supplication, O Yahweh my God, to hearken to the cry and to the prayer which thy servant prayeth before thee this day, that thy eyes may be open toward this house night and day, even toward the place whereof thou hast said, My name shall be there, to hearken to the prayer which thy servant shall pray toward this place. And hearken thou to the supplication of thy servant and of thy people Israel, when they shall pray toward this place. Yea, hear thou in skies thy dwelling place, and when thou hearest, forgive. If a man sin against his neighbor, and an oath be laid upon him to cause him to swear, and he come and swear before thy altar in this house, then hear thou in skies, and do, and judge thy servants, condemning the wicked to bring his way upon his own head, and justifying the righteous to give him according to his righteousness. When thy people Israel are smitten down before the enemy, because they have sinned against thee, if they turn again to thee, and confess thy name, and pray, and make supplication to thee in this house, then hear thou in skies, and forgive the sin of thy people Israel, and bring them again to the land which thou gavest to their fathers. When skies are shut up, and there is no rain, because they have sinned against thee, if they pray toward this place, and confess thy name, and turn from their sin, when thou dost afflict them, then hear thou in skies, and forgive the sin of thy servants and of thy people Israel, when thou teachest them the good way wherein they should walk, and send rain upon thy land, which thou hast given to thy people for an inheritance. If there be in the land famine, if there be pestilence, if there be blasting or mildew, locust or caterpillar, if their enemy besiege them in the land of their cities, whatsoever plague, whatsoever sickness there be, what prayer and supplication soever be made by any man, or by all thy people Israel, who shall know, every man the plague of his own heart, and spread forth his hands toward this house, then hear thou in skies thy dwelling place, and forgive, and do, and render to every man according to all his ways, whose heart thou knowest, for thou, even thou only, knowest the hearts of all the children of the Adam, that they fear thee all the days that they live in the land which thou gavest to our fathers. Moreover, concerning the foreigner that is not of thy people Israel, when he shall come out of a far country for thy name's sake, for they shall hear of thy great name, and of thy mighty hand, and of thy outstretched arm, when he shall come and pray toward this house, Hear thou in skies thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the foreigner calleth to thee for, that all the peoples of the earth may know thy name, to fear thee, as doth thy people Yisrael, and that they know that this house which I have built is called by thy name. If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, by whatsoever way thou shalt send them, and they pray to Yahweh toward the city which thou hast chosen, and toward the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou in skies their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captive to the land of the enemy, far off or near. And they shall return these things to their heart in the land whither they are carried captive, and turn again, and make supplication to thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, We have sinned, and have done perversely, we have dealt wickedly. If they return to thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, who carried them captive, and pray to thee toward their land, which thou gavest to their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, and the house which I have built for thy name, then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in skies thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause, and forgive thy people who have sinned against thee, and all their transgressions wherein they have transgressed against thee, and give them compassion before those who carried them captive, that they have compassion on them. For they are thy people, and thy inheritance, which thou broughtest forth out of Mizraim, from the midst of the furnace of iron, that thy eyes may be open to the supplication of thy servant, and to the supplication of thy people Yisrael, to hearken to them whensoever they cry to thee. For thou didst separate them from among all the peoples of the earth, to be thy inheritance, as thou spakest by Moshe thy servant, when thou broughtest our fathers out of Mizraim, O Lord Yahweh. And it was so, that when Shlomo had made an end of praying all this prayer and supplication to Yahweh, he arose from before the altar of Yahweh, from kneeling on his knees, with his hands spread toward skies. And he stood and blessed all the assembly of Yisrael with a loud voice, saying, Blessed be Yahweh, that hath given rest to his people Yisrael, according to all that he promised. There hath not fallen one word of all his good promise, which he promised by Moshe his servant. Yahweh our God be with us, as he was with our fathers. Let him not leave us nor forsake us, that he may incline our hearts to him, to walk in all his ways, and to keep his commands, and his statutes, and his ordinances, which he commanded our fathers. And let these my words, wherewith I have made supplications before Yahweh, be near to Yahweh our God day and night, that he maintain the cause of his servant and the cause of his people Yisrael, as every day shall require, that all the peoples of the earth may know that Yahweh, he is God, there is none else. Let your heart therefore be perfect with Yahweh our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commands, as at this day. And the king and all Yisrael with him offered sacrifice before Yahweh. And Shlomo offered for the sacrifice of peace offerings, which he offered to Yahweh, 22,000 oxen, and 120,000 sheep. So the king and all the children of Israel dedicated the house of Yahweh. The same day did the king hallow the middle of the court that was before the house of Yahweh, for there he offered the ascending offering, and the grain offering, and the fat of the peace offerings, because the brazen altar that was before Yahweh was too little to receive the ascending offering, and the grain offering, and the fat of the peace offerings. So Shalom held the feast at that time, and all Israel with him, a great assembly, from the entrance of Hamath to the brook of Mithraim, before Yahweh our God, 7 days and 7 days, even 14 days. On the 8th day he sent the people away, and they blessed the king, and went to their tents, joyful and glad of heart, for all the goodness that Yahweh had showed to Dawid his servant, and to Yisrael his people.